Okay, here's the rear of the suspension, looking at it from the rear. This is passenger rear. You can see the shock absorber mount again right here, and this guy right here is part of the upper control arm. This is your lower control arm. This is your upper control arm. They both work in parallel and go up and down with suspension movement. The big heavy trailing arm is up in the front, and it articulates with that at the same time. So you've got 3 points of contact, and they all move together in unison to keep the wheel aligned even when your suspension travels up and down. Up in here, you can see the coil spring, and the coil spring determines your ride height of the vehicle right there. And the shock absorber acts as a damper to stop the spring from cycling. Springs like to bounce and continue to bounce. If you see a vehicle going down the road that looks like it's a basketball, you have a failed shock absorber. The shock absorber is not stopping the spring cycle. So spring determines ride height, and spring basically resists compression so that when you go over a bump or when you load a whole bunch of people in the back of the vehicle, that spring will compress. But then when you start getting a bounce, when you start getting a cycle of movement, the shock absorber, its job is to stop that cycle so the spring doesn't continue to extend and retract.